Hello and welcome to another video. Another year has gone by. It's been now 5 years since I started with the Retro Gambler on YouTube, and yeah, basically since the beginning every year I try to make an anniversary video, and this is the reason why I do this video right now. The first 3 videos that I did for my first 3 anniversaries were Q&A videos. Then last year, for my 4th year on YouTube, I made something completely different. Or better, let's say a video that was completely different, because in this video I've repaired a faulty PC Engine Duo, which I gave shortly after the video was uploaded. I gave it to one of my good friends, Peter, because he helped me with my collection, and yeah, he gave me a lot of his double Dreamcast games that he had, so this was a very big help for my collection. And also in the video that I made last year, I've also shown you all the stuff that he gave to me. Also, he gave me a Nintendo 64 with a couple of games, and in the end this was one of the reasons why I gave him the PC Engine Duo. And before I gave him the system, I noticed that it was faulty, sorry, and that I have to repair it, and this was the reason why I also recorded everything and showed you this in the last year anniversary video. And this year, yeah, coincidentally, this year's anniversary video is going to be very similar to last year's anniversary video because of 2 things. Number one, I have to repair, or I'm gonna repair in this video, one of my consoles, one of my 3DO consoles, this one right here, the FC10 model. This was my very first video that I ever got for my collection, and yeah, this one broke down, so I have to repair it. And the second thing is, someone else helped me with my collection recently. I've got a very cool and actually huge donation from one of my great viewers. His name is Victor, and I wanna show you in this video what I got from him. And I also wanna use more or less this video to say thanks again to Victor for donating all this great stuff to me. And of course, I also want to say thank you to all of you, my viewers, for your support, for subscribing to my channel, for watching my videos, commenting, rating, you know, everything. So thanks again for supporting my channel and watching my videos. And yeah, now we're gonna start this anniversary video, so let's go. So before we come to the actual repair, yeah, I also thought I'm gonna tell you the background story, because without this background story I wouldn't have noticed that my FC10 was actually faulty. So about 2 years ago I bought an 3DO bundle on eBay from an Italian seller, if I'm not mistaken, and the bundle consisted out of 3 things. Number one, there was FC10, a Japanese version, or better say model, of a 3DO, which was described as faulty because he said in the description that he couldn't test it or anything, so he sells it as faulty. Then there were a couple of sealed Japanese games for the 3DO, and the main thing why I wanted to buy this bundle was it also included a 3DO memory unit. This one right here. And those memory units are pretty rare, they are hard to find, and I've been looking for those things for a couple of years now. So this was the thing why I jumped on this bundle and I bought it. I bought it also for a very good price slash cheap price, because even with shipping, which wasn't which was pretty expensive actually, I paid below 100 euros, or actually below $100 if you want to call it. But I'm not gonna tell you how much I actually paid, but it was below 100 US dollars. And normally those things, like I said before, they are pretty rare and they only show up, let's say, I mean today they show up a little bit oftener, but for the most part they only show up, let's say, three times a year or so, especially in the last 2 years. And I've only seen complete memory units with the box and with the manual and with the CD, and they sold for between 120 and let's say 220 US dollars. And yeah, but in the end I've bought everything. I also think I got it pretty cheap. The only thing that I didn't know about those things was that you need the original CD that came with those memory units, because they have a program on it that allows you to access those memory units. And basically what those memory units are that, let's say, the 3DO FC10 has 32 kilobytes for save games, memory for save games. And yeah, if you want, you can't get more memory for save games besides those. With one of those memory units has 256 kilobytes of RAM, or better, not RAM, but memory for save games, sorry. And those 256 kilobytes are divided in 8 spaces, and each one of those spaces has 32 kilobytes. So in the end you get 8 times the memory space for save games on this unit compared to the normal 3DO consoles. Each 3DO console has 32 kilobytes of memory for save states, or for yeah, memory for your save states. But you can't access those save states on those memory units unless you have the original CD that came with this memory unit. Because even though the 3DO FC10 has actually a storage manager where you can manage your save games, you can delete them or whatever, and there's also a program out there called the Game Guru, the 3DO Game Guru, which is kind of like a cheating device for on one hand, like the NES Game Genie, for instance. But the Game Guru also allows you to compromise the save states so that you get so that the save states would need less save space on those memory, on those built-in memory. But in the end you can't access the memory unit with the Game Guru or with the storage manager on the 3DO FC10. You need the original program, or let's say the original CD that came with the memory unit. But I was able to find it online back in the days, and I downloaded it and I've burned it on a CD just so that I actually could try out the memory unit if it actually works. So it works, and it works pretty good. So this was cool and everything. Then now the games that I got in this bundle, nothing really amazing or rare or anything. I think it's cool that they are all sealed and that they are all Japanese versions and everything, but I didn't open up any of those yet and tried any of those, but I just thought I also gonna show you those. First one is Pyramid Intruder. This is actually pretty cool. This is a rail shooter. I actually have this one because it's originally it was a Laserdisc game for the Laser Active, and I have the Laser Active version. This is called Pyramid Patrol, and the only difference between those two versions is that in Pyramid Patrol it's a first-person rail shooter, and in this one, Pyramid Intruder, it's a third-person rail shooter because the camera is behind your ship in the end. So this was that. Then J-League Virtual Stadium, a soccer game. Next one, yeah, Takeru. I have no idea what this game is all about. Can be an anime, yeah. Police Notes Pilot Disc, also cool. I guess it's the sorry, I guess it's the demo disc of the game Police Nauts. So I can't talk anymore, sorry. Next thing, yeah, I have no idea what the name of this game is. It's kind of a board game. Then here, yeah, we have some kind of an anime. Demolition Man. I already have Demolition Man, but now I also have the Japanese version. And the last one, yeah, I also have no idea what this one is. If this actually is a game or... Yeah, it's okay, it's kind of a Dr. Mario clone or something like that. Okay, those were the games, and yeah, the last thing in this bundle was the 3D OFC 10, a Japanese version or a Japanese model. And like I said before, the seller was from Italy, and I guess the person that turned on the system, the last person that turned on the system, didn't notice that this console can only take one or runs on 110 volts or uses 110 volts, not 220. So they just used a power cable and connected to the wall socket, and in Italy, same thing like by us in Austria, we have 220 volts in our wall sockets. And in Japan and in North America, for instance, they have 110 volts. So if you run a console or a TV or anything on the double voltage, yeah, you're gonna have problems. And same thing happened with this 3DO. In the end, the fuse blew out. So I've bought one of those fuses, actually a bundle, and I've replaced the fuse. Then the next thing that I noticed was that one of the varistors blew out because there were only the two connectors still in their place. The rest was completely blown away. And I found some pieces inside the 3DO, so I also replaced this one. And after I've replaced the fuse and the varistor, the game, the system would come, or let's say would turn on. I used the step-down converter and everything, so I'm running the system with 110 volts. Okay, but the next thing that didn't work was the CD-ROM drive. The CD was spinning, but it wasn't reading any of those games that I've inserted into the system. And yeah, I thought about it, maybe the laser is broken or anything, but yeah, it's pretty hard to find a laser for the FC10 on eBay, especially in the last year or so. They hardly show up or rarely show up. And also I wasn't convinced that it's just a problem with this laser, and I also didn't want it to take my working laser from my FC10 and put it in the faulty 3DO, because if there's something else broken and this broken piece would have damaged the laser in the first place, then this would also destroy or damage my working laser. So I also didn't check on this one or anything. So I thought I'm gonna look around and search for other problems inside the system, and I couldn't find any specific problems in the system, but I've started to replace a lot of the capacitors, and especially in the area of the CD-ROM drive. But I didn't have all the capacitors that I needed for this project, so I've stopped at a specific point. And when I turned on the system, I've noticed that now the CD was spinning, but in the other direction, and also pretty fast. So I don't know, especially back then, I didn't know anything what's happening right now or where the problem was. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna store it away, and I'm gonna try to fix it later on. And yeah, about a month ago or so, I thought, hey, I still have this faulty 3DO1 console, so and I have some time. I have now more capacitors, so maybe I'm gonna take a second look and see if I can fix it. So I open up the system, and as a comparison I opened up my working 3DO FC10 so that I compare both systems and maybe I see some problems or anything on this one, on the faulty 3DO one. That's yeah, just as a comparison. And in the end I couldn't find any differences, or both systems have differences, because the one is an NTSC model / a Japanese model, the other one is a PAL model, so there are some minor differences, but I couldn't find any yeah, faulty parts or anything in those in this system. And yeah, I've replaced a couple of things, a couple of capacitors, but in the end I still had the same problems. So I stowed it away again, and since I already had my working 3DO on the table, I thought, okay, now I want to play a couple of games on my 3DO. And when I turned on the system, I noticed that my, as I thought, working 3DO FC10 model doesn't work anymore because it wouldn't read any discs. So this was the background story. I know it was a little bit long, but in the end all my videos are long. Why should this video be anything yeah, different than any of my other videos? Now we come to the repair part. Last thing about the repair part is that while I had both systems disassembled for the comparison check, when I reassembled them, I've replaced the metal shieldings inside those systems. So I had the PAL shielding in the Japanese console and the Japanese shielding in the PAL console. It wouldn't matter or anything, it doesn't change anything in the console. It's nothing wrong if you do that, but just from the looks, and also because the PAL version has a warning sticker on it, and yeah, I just wanted to put in the right shielding to the right console, and this is also one thing that I changed back in the repair video, but I'm gonna mention it anyways. Okay, but now let's come to the repair. So first I thought I'm gonna show you what the 3DO is doing, or actually is not doing right now. Gonna push the button. This button is normally for the system to let it know that the CD door is closed. And well, it makes some noises, the CD is spinning. But yeah, it doesn't read very much. The laser is actually moving, but not on the rails, so not forwards or backwards on the rails, but at least the laser lens is working, or as it looks like it's working. So the next thing that I did was I removed the CD-ROM drive from the system, and just looking at it, I haven't seen anything that I think I have to worry about. So there wasn't any damage on one of the ribbon cables. Also the laser looked intact. The only thing that I noticed was that yeah, on the rails we have some old grease, which I'm gonna remove, and I'm gonna yeah, renew, or actually I'm gonna apply some new grease to the rails. But yeah, I don't think that this is actually the problem that I have right now. But I'm gonna disassemble the complete CD-ROM drive even more, so that I can take a look on all the parts. This is the other 3DO that I have right now that I can use for spare parts, and the first thing that I did was I changed back the shieldings, because I had both systems already open, and then I mismatched the shieldings. It's nothing that that anyone has to worry about, but I think the other shielding looks cooler because of the sticker with all the warnings on it and so on. Yeah, and after this disassembling the laser, or actually the CD-ROM drive, I noticed that on one of the rails, which also has plastic gear, the gear itself had a little crack on it, and this one is normally connected to the motor which controls the forward and backward movement of the laser. And I've taken apart also the other CD-ROM drive from my other 3DO, and yeah, this plastic gear wasn't broken or anything, so I'm gonna change this part from one CD-ROM to the other, and I'm gonna clean everything, and also gonna re-grease the rails, of course. And now I have reassembled everything back together, and yeah, let's give it a try. And by the way, the CD is in mint condition, it has no scratches or anything, and also the laser lens was cleaned before, so everything is clean, there's no dirt on it, because in some cases it actually can only be a small problem, like the laser lens is dirty or anything, then you have to clean it and then the laser works perfectly again, but in this case it was already clean. So as it looks like, yeah, just changing this one rail slash plastic gear didn't do very much, because it still wouldn't load the game. Now I've positioned the laser this time at the edge of the rail, because I wanted to see if the laser is actually working slash moving forwards or backwards, but as you can see it doesn't change its position. So there's still a problem with it. Next thing that I thought that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the motor, which controls the laser on the rails. So I've replaced the motor that was inside the CD-ROM with the motor of the other CD-ROM drive. So let's try it again. And at least the laser is moving right now, but the noises that it made so far weren't, yeah, normal. And no, this is not normal. But let's see what happens. But at least it loaded the game, so this is pretty cool. Woohoo! I gave it a thumbs up. But again, the noises that the laser made at the beginning, yeah, this wasn't normal at all, so I thought I'm gonna check it again. Yeah, still the same noises. So the next thing that I thought I'm gonna try is, again, I've positioned the laser at the edge of the rails to see if anything would change, but yeah, it's still making those noises, and now it's not, yeah, it's not loading the game or anything. Even though it loaded the game before, now it doesn't load the game anymore. So let's disassemble it again and reassemble it. And actually this was a problem that I fixed pretty fast, because I noticed that one of the ribbon cables got stuck in those clamps from the metal shielding from the bottom of the console. And yeah, so after I disassembled the CD-ROM drive, I just had to free the ribbon cable and then I could reassemble everything back together, and let's try it again. And those sounds sound promising in the end, because those are the noises that a 3DO, at least an FC10 model, would normally do. Woohoo! It works! And it also made the normal 3DO FC10 noises instead of those clackering sounds. And as it looks like the problem with the ribbon cable was because the ribbon cable was stuck, the laser couldn't reach the end of the rail, and this was the reason why it resetted the laser every time. And yeah, since I know now the CD-ROM is working, I just thought I'm gonna test the motor that I removed just to see if it actually is broken. And yeah, it is working. So sadly, I can't tell you what the problem was with this 3DO, if it's just only this one plastic gear, or the fact that I disassembled and reassembled the complete the complete CD-ROM for about 10 to 12 times, or I can't tell you. I'm actually glad that I've got it back working again, and that I recorded everything, and now that I can share it with you. And now that everything is put back together, I thought I'm gonna celebrate, not by loading the game VR stock, instead I thought I'm gonna insert Super Wing Commander and test it again if it's actually still working. And there it is, Super Wing Commander in all its glory. Woohoo! The repair was successful, and yeah, hopefully my 3DO stays now in this fixed condition for a very long time, because I'm not looking forward to fixing this system in the near future or anything, so I hope for the best. Okay, now we come to the donation / to the stuff that I got from Victor, and actually this was the very first time that I actually accepted a donation from one of my viewers. You can say I get between 2 to 3 personal messages about donations every year, and normally I don't accept donations for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that when I get a personal message about the donation, it depends what the donation actually is, because yeah, if it's something that I don't wanna have, that I'm not interested in, or that I don't need, then why should I take the opportunity? Let's call it like that. I'm not like, hey, yeah, free stuff, gimme, gimme, gimme. That's not me. If I'm not interested or anything, then I'm thankfully for all the opportunities that I get from people slash for those donations, or that the people are willing to donate stuff to me. That's very grateful of them, and I'm thankful for this opportunity. But in the end, if I don't want to have it or I don't need it for my collection, then this is one of the main reasons why I say thanks, but yeah, no thanks. Another reason is a lot of times that even if I'm interested or slightly interested in those things, then I still talk back to them or message them back. Why do you want to donate this stuff to me? You know, you can get some money if you would sell this stuff on eBay or on other sites like Craigslist or whatever. And in the end, I also want to know if they still say, no, I actually wanted to give it to you, / I want to donate it to you. I want to know the reason why they want to donate the stuff actually to me. This might sound strange, but in the end, this is something that is important for me. But in the end, every time I got a PM about a donation, I never accepted any of those. I was thankful to all of them, but I declined. But in the case of Victor, I said, hey, it would be cool, and if you don't want this stuff anymore, then I'm glad to take it, or to take this stuff off your hands. Basically, he PM'd me I guess 4 months ago or so, that he likes my he likes my videos and everything, and he asked me if I would be interested in a Commodore 64 and in a floppy disk drive. Now, I already have a Commodore 64 and a floppy disk drive, but my Commodore 64 that I have is the second model with the C128 casing. And my floppy disk drive, it's in a working condition, but it doesn't look very pretty or anything. It has a lot of yellowing, there's some broken stuff on it, but it works. And the Commodore 64 that I had, the one that I bought, this was the same one that I had, or the same model that I had while growing up. But the Commodore 64 that he has or had was the first model, the so-called breadbox, and his disk drive, or let's say the floppy disk drive, because he sent me some photos or pictures, was in a very good / mint condition, looked very pretty. And so I wrote back to him, hey, I would be interested in the Commodore 64, but you know, if everything works, don't you want to sell it? I mean, you could get good money for working Commodore 64 with floppy disk drive. And in the end, he wrote back to me that no, he don't wanted to sell his old stuff. He wanted to find a new home for his old computer. He wanted that this computer would go to someone who would take good care of it and who actually appreciates it, and that's the reason why he thought about me. So in the end, I said, hey, yeah, sure, if you really wanna give me the stuff, then yeah, I would gladly take it and add it to my collection. And then later on, he found a couple of other stuff. He also said, hey, I have a couple of old PC games, are you interested? And he also had a lot of game boxes with the manuals, but he didn't have the game discs anymore, also PC games, because he borrowed the games to some friends, and in the end they never gave him back. And yeah, he didn't knew what he would do with those, let's say, empty game boxes. So if I'm also interested, because otherwise he might throw them away. And in the end I said, okay, I took everything that he had, but yeah, I drove to his place on a weekend, and I've spent a couple of hours slash the afternoon at his place. We talked about all kinds of stuff, a little bit about video games, but mostly the rest of the stuff that we talked about was about everything what was going on in the world and opinions and whatever. And it was really cool to meet him, to get to know him. He also got to know me a little bit better, and in the end it was a cool afternoon. And yeah, when I got home I got a lot of new stuff for my collection. Okay, next let me show you what I actually got from him. And yeah, since I'm now using the hand camera, I also have to switch to the built-in microphone because this one will not have the same reach. And yeah, just wanted to mention it because now it's going to be a slightly lower quality in terms of audio quality. Okay, so the stuff that I got from him is here. Ta-da-da-da. Here we have the Commodore 64, the breadbox version, slightly modified here with a reset button. The reset button doesn't work right now, so I have to fix this in the future. And I've taken apart the Commodore 64 because I did some cleaning. I wanted to clean it on the inside, which I did. And I also cleaned a little bit the keyboard from dust. And yeah. Next here we have a couple of cables, then one cartridge game, International Soccer, two joysticks, one Competition Pro and one Quick Shot. Disassembled this one completely and cleaned it. Both joysticks work so far. Then here we have two power supplies, one tape drive, and this is the floppy disk drive. And as you can see, it's in a very beautiful condition, especially if you compare it to mine that I have right here. As you can see, there's a lot of yellowing, and this thing right here, yeah, broke off. But it still works, and this is my Commodore C128. Commodore 64, but with the C128 casing. So, and I also recorded some footage while I was trying out the computer, which I'm gonna show you in a minute, where I test the cartridge slot of the Commodore 64, then I also test, of course, the floppy disk drive and the tape drive. Sadly, the tape drive doesn't work. There's some problem either with the cable or with the tape drive itself, but it gave me a perfect opportunity to try one of my tape drives, which I bought a couple of years ago, and I hadn't time yet to try it out, so I'm trying my tape drive instead of this one. But again, I'm gonna show you this in a minute. Now to the games that he had complete. This is the first one, Alone in the Dark, the trilogy, with all three Alone in the Dark games. Pretty cool. Then here we have a flight simulator, Flight Unlimited. Also pretty cool. And I remember back in the days a couple of PC magazines where there were a lot of advertising about this game because the graphic engine, I guess, was completely new and very powerful. Then here we have Bioforge, also cool game from Origin, kind of an action adventure. I never played it, but also remember some reviews from back in the day. And this is very cool. Wolfenstein Spear of Destiny, the successor of the Wolfenstein 3D game. Very glad to own this now, or to have this in my collection. This is pretty cool. And now to the games, or well, let's say the game boxes that he had without the games. So here a lot of Quake, because here we have Quake 1, Quake 2, Quake 3, then mission packs for Quake 1, mission packs for Quake 2, Doom 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 2, then here we have Redneck Rampage, the manual for the floppy disk drive, And yeah, here we have Duke Nukem 3D and Blood to the Chosen. And I was actually glad that this came, or better say that I got this from him, because back in the days when this game came out, I bought it and I still have the game / had the game, but yeah, at that time after I bought it, this was the time while I was still living with my parents, and I had to make room in my closet, and in the end this was the time where I didn't actually collected anything. And yeah, back then I threw away a couple of my game boxes. I still had the game and everything, but I missed the box and the manual, and now I actually have all of that because he was missing the game. And yeah, let's get it out still. Now this is my copy of the game, and I also had a Blood shareware, or let's say the shareware of the first Blood game, and I also added that to this one. And yeah, as you can see, here is the manual. And also one other thing, when I saw Duke Nukem 3D, I thought, hey cool, Duke Nukem 3D, but I actually have it. But this is not the normal edition, this is the Atomic edition, so this is actually one that I also don't have. And yeah, in the end I thought, you know, in a worst case scenario, not that I would do it, but in a worst case scenario, if I don't find the games or anything, and I don't have the space or anything, like I said, in the worst case scenario, I could also throw them away, but this is something that I could not do or anything. But I thought about maybe I can find those games in the wild, but in the end, yeah, the chances are pretty low that I'm gonna find all those games, or at least the game CDs, somewhere in the wild. So I've started 1 month ago to get all those games on eBay, and I'm almost finished, because here we have all the games that I bought so far. 1 and 2. So I have Redneck Rampage, Doom 2, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Atomic Edition from Duke Nukem 3D, Quake 1, Quake 2, Quake 3, Mission Disc 1 and 2 from Quake 1, and here we have one mission disc from Quake 2, and this one I have no idea, this was included with one of those other discs, and it has something to do with Quake if the camera focuses. Please focus, 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 focus. There, you can see Quake. I haven't checked it right now yet, sorry, but it has something to do with Quake. Maybe it's also, or maybe it's just the soundtrack, I have no idea. But so far the only thing that I miss, or that I can't complete, is this one, the other mission disc from Quake 2. But in the end I was able to get all the other games, so pretty cool. Again, thank you, Victor, if you are watching this. I'm very thankful that you gave all this stuff to me and let me edit this to my collection. Next, let me show you the recorded stuff, or better say the recorded material that I have while I was testing the Commodore 64. Since the loading times are pretty long on a Commodore 64, especially on a tape drive, but also some of the disc games can have very long loading times, I thought I'm gonna save us all some time, and I'm gonna fast forward 1 or maybe 2 of the loading times, but I'm also gonna add a little timer in one of the corners, just for those people who are actually interested to know how long it actually takes for a game to load on a tape drive and also on a floppy disk, of course. So we're now almost at the end of this video. I can give you a few infos about what's going to happen in the near future on my channel. Now I have to finish, of course, my review series of the Terminator games from Bethesda. So I'm going to review, of course, the Terminator Future Shock and the Terminator Skynet in the near future. Actually, the next video or videos will be about those games. After that, I guess it's time to change things a little bit, and yeah, then I'm gonna review either a video game system or a video game accessory like a controller, maybe light gun or something like that. I haven't decided yet. Beside those things, of course, like I already mentioned in my video after Christmas, I'm trying this year to make a Halloween special, but beside those few plans, I don't have anything more planned out so far. So let's see what happens. One other thing, or let's say one more thing that I wanted to mention, E3 happened recently and there were a lot of cool stuff shown and a lot of cool games were announced. Only 2 games that I'm actually looking forward this year, or from the whole E3, there are only 2 games which really excited me. The first one was, of course, Star Wars Battlefront, and the second one was Fallout 4. Both games will be released this year in November. I really look forward for those 2 games, and those are actually now reasons for me to buy one of the current video game systems, Xbox One or PlayStation 4. I haven't decided yet. I actually wait just shortly before those games will be released, then I'm gonna decide which console I'm gonna buy. But I'm really looking forward, especially for Fallout 4, and I'm gonna take off 1 week or so from work, a short vacation, just to have enough time to play Fallout 4 for real. So this is really something that I'm looking forward. Okay, but now we're actually really at the end of this video. I know it's already too long, but yeah, this was my 5-year anniversary with my show, The Retro Gambler, on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Thanks also again for subscribing, supporting my channel, and writing comments and everything. And thanks again also, Victor, for all the cool stuff that I got from you. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. Maybe see you next time. Take care. Bye.